What's up, you bums? Hope you're all doing well on Tuesday, May the 5th. Cinco de Mayo, little Cinco de Mayo history for you. A lot of people think it is the Mexican Independence Day. It is not. Cinco de Mayo is a day in which Mexico celebrates the United States because we helped them fight off the Spanish when Spain was trying to take control back over Mexico. And so, the Mexican people started celebrating Cinco de Mayo with Americans, which is why it's really just an excuse for Americans to go and order an ACP at a Mexican restaurant and to be a little more festive. So sorry if that burst your bubble. Um, I had a big meeting with a lot of the high school teachers in the district today about grades, and I am more confused now than I was before we had the meeting. And I think that's because there's a lot of confusion in a few other places. Here's what I know. On Tuesday, May the 5th, I'm going to be entering in grades for quarter four. A few of you have sent me messages asking me when are grades going in. I looked and everything else. They're going in tomorrow. I've got a lot of stuff graded already. Keep in mind, guys, it's up to you to do it. If you do nothing and stuff goes in as incomplete, you get a 50 for the quarter. You could potentially be withdrawn from the class and not get credit. That is why I'm sending messages. That's why I'm giving your information. That's guys, I've called some of your parents multiple times and nobody's answered. So at some point we just got to get some stuff done, all right? Um, so there's that. Um, Sorry, I forgot to start my timer. Um, I'm I'm trying to get a meeting with Miss Walker tomorrow. Hopefully, I can do it before we have our teams meetings. First period is at 10:30. Second period's at 11. Fourth period is at 11:30. Hopefully, I can meet with Miss Walker. I've got some ideas or things I want to ask her and run by, and hopefully, I can share that information with you whenever we have our meetings tomorrow on Tuesday. But let's just jump into what we need to do and get it done and over with and out of the way. Um, and we'll be one day closer to the end of the school year. So, guys, we're going to put this on the same page as the notes we started yesterday with the Great Depression and World War II. Basically, World War II happened because World War One happened, and we didn't finish World War One the way we needed to finish World War One. The first slide talks about the Treaty of Versailles and how bad it was, but the Great Depression was really, really, really bad. And the bell ringer for today would have been, how can being broke lead to bad decisions? And the whole world was broke. And so the whole world made a series of very, very, very bad decisions going forward. So ultimately, dictators come to power. But that happens because of the Treaty of Versailles. And it got Great Depression going worldwide. It was more than just the stock market here in the United States. It was the fact that everybody was trading and selling like everything was okay. Excuse me. Excuse me. When everything was not, people were broke. People were just printing money, and then all of a sudden, people were giving loans to people that didn't need to get loans. And then all of a sudden, whenever people couldn't pay back those loans, depression happened. And then there was a lot of resentment in Germany. Um, Germany hated the fact that the rest of the world screwed them over, and the rest of the world blamed Germany for starting World War One. So it was like a catch-22 where everybody was mad at everybody, and nothing good was going to get done. Now, that's when we start to see new leaders come in, and this is where it gets complicated. Benito Mussolini is an Italian dictator. Now, dictators come into power by force and they leave by force. They come in and they take over power, and generally speaking, when they lose their power, they're killed. Okay. Benito Mussolini was in Italy and he was a member of the fascist party. Both the Nazis and the fascists had the same basic formula. Fascism is militarism, in which you're building as big a military as you possibly can, mixed with kind of communism. Here's the difference in communism and socialism. We hear these words a lot and we get them mixed up. Guys, communism is when the government controls absolutely everything economically and socially. you have no choice, right? Socialism is when the government steps in and controls some parts of it, but not all of it. People still have a say, right? The most We have some socialist things here in the United States. For example, that $1,200 check that everybody's parents got for COVID relief, that's socialism. That's the government helping out the Americans individually with an economic stimulus package. They're spending money that they didn't necessarily ask anybody in the United States if we should. They just did it, right? Schools are socialist, right? None of you pay tuition to go to Walkertown High School, right? You all go. It's paid for by taxpayer money. Communism is whenever you tell everybody what to do and they don't have a choice. And you mix that with the military, and that's where you start to get into dangerous territory with these dictators in World War II. Benito Mussolini, if you can tell by the equipment that he's wearing, he was a member of the military in Italy. So he had the military behind him whenever he came into power and took everything over. Okay. And then you get this guy, Adolf Hitler. Now, the Nazis are the same thing. Technically, Nazi is an acronym. Um, NA stands for nationalist, which means that you think your country is better than everybody else's, so much to the point you hate other countries for it. And the ZI is the German spelling for socialist, when really it was more communist than anything else. They were the Nationalist Socialist Party. Adolf Hitler came into power in 1933. Okay. And this is where it starts to get a little weird and crazy. Germany was in the middle of the Great Depression, and they had gone through like 5 leaders in a 4-year time span. And Adolf Hitler was a guy who kept going, "Hey, let me be the leader. Let me be the leader. Let me be the leader." And people were like, "Finally, okay, we'll let you be the leader, and you'll leave everybody alone because you're annoying and you know nothing about politics." So let's back up and get Hitler's background. Adolf Hitler wasn't even German. Adolf Hitler was Austrian. He was born in Austria-Hungary. He served in World War One with the Austro-Hungarian military, and Adolf Hitler got shot. And this is where history becomes the game of coulda, shoulda, woulda. What would have happened? What could have? What should have? If Hitler had gotten killed in World War One, but he didn't. He got shot in the shoulder. Military career was bust. He got out of the military, and he's like, you know what? I want to pursue a passion of mine, and that is, you won't guess it, painting. Adolf Hitler was an artist, and he wasn't that bad. Let me pull up. You could just Google Hitler paintings, and guys, they're not bad. Adolf Hitler painted these, and he applied to art school, and he got rejected. And they rejected him because they said that he only did one style of artwork, landscapes. They said that they thought he couldn't paint people, which the whole point of going to school is to learn how to do it. So I don't know why they didn't let him in, but they didn't. And that's whenever he decided to go into politics. And lo and behold, he became the most whiny person in the world. He went out, he was arguing for politics and everything else, and he got arrested. And they threw him in prison. Whenever he was in prison, he wrote a book, and that book is called Mein Kampf. Mein Kampf translates into My Struggle. This dude wrote a 600-page book, one of the most boring and convoluted books I've ever read in my life, about his struggle in life and how he struggled and how all these bad things have happened to him. And none of it's his fault. It's all the fault of Jewish people. He blamed Jewish people for everything that had happened wrong in his life, right? And part of that might be the fact that, and we don't know this 100% for sure, because he didn't know his father. But we think that Hitler's father's mother, Hitler's grandmother, who he never met, was Jewish. And he blamed his father's Jewish blood, although he didn't talk about it much, for leaving. And the Jewish people going out and doing everything. And so Adolf Hitler got elected. And I want to say something, and I want to be very clear. And now I've got it on recording, so I know it's clear. Adolf Hitler is the most effective leader in the 20th century. And he may be the most effective leader in the history of the world. I did not say he was the best. Adolf Hitler was an evil man that stood for evil things. I said he was effective. Every single thing that Adolf Hitler said he was going to do, he did, and he did it very, very quickly. The first thing that Adolf Hitler did whenever he came into power is he made a law that made himself leader for life. Everything Adolf Hitler did was legal, but he got rid of elections so that he was in charge forever. Within 3 years, he had solved the depression in Germany. How? He gave everybody a job, and guess what? The military. If you were a military age male, you joined the military and you started training. If you were too old or too young, or if you were a female, you made military equipment. Every single person had a job. They built a huge military. So much so that Adolf Hitler became Time Man of the Year twice. They said he was the best man in the world because of what he did for Germany's economy. He hosted the 1936 Olympics. There was an Olympics in Berlin with Nazi flags everywhere, and Hitler was there. And people thought he was like this guy that solved everything. And that's when it starts to get a little tricky because we knew that these two guys were working together and they were scary as all get out. Even most historians will say that Benito Mussolini was scared of Adolf Hitler because of what Adolf Hitler could be capable of doing. Okay, so here's what I want you guys to do for your assignment for today. It's a leader profile. I want you to tell me about Adolf Hitler and I want you to tell me about Benito Mussolini. You click on this, it opens up a doc. I want you to click File, make a copy. Oh, I don't have the names typed in, so let me go ahead and take care of that right now. Adolf Hitler, and then I'm going to misspell his name. Let me double check. This is embarrassing. Mussolini. Mussol. Awesome. All right, guys. So the basic questions it's going to ask you. What do you know about them? Their background, like where are they from? What are some important things that happened in their life? What's their legacy as a leader? What are they remembered for as a leader, as a politician? And I want two different sources for each one of these. You guys will do file, make a copy. There's a place set up in here for you guys to turn it in. And that's that. Thanks for watching the video. I hope to see you guys in Teams tomorrow. Look for grades to be typed in ASAP. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.